What's going on, guys? This is Greg Farley here with
Tim,
the homie Tim.
Buster Blader.
He's known for this damn deck that turns everybody into dragons. But instead of doing a profile, we wanted to do a how-to, just because a lot of people like this deck. You know, it's got a lot of views on my channel. So I wanted to kind of do a video where we talk specifically about Buster Blader and how you go about building it, what you recommend doing. I'll just let you talk and I'll shut up.
Good to go. Well, as you could test, I'm the one that's missing out of all your other top four.
Yeah.
So he can contest. This deck is actually pretty good.
Yeah.
It's built it as consistent as possible as I can build it.
Right.
And I think it does a very good job against meta, against rogue. It checks everybody. It's a hard lock to do. And it's just, I've always fell in love with it the moment I played it. So, to go ahead and get started into it, I rock the one normal Buster Blader. Again, you don't have to rock that. I rock the two alternate ones. You can rock all three if you'd like, because they become Buster Blader in the grave or on the field. But I just like it for
Now, is there a difference?
Yeah. So with your normal Buster Blader, you gain just off regular off dragons in your field, graveyard, heal gain. That's just plain Buster Blader. This is the alternative Buster Blader, which is the Destruction Sword one. He's the one that's searchable. And what he does is that he doesn't gain off dragons or anything, but if your opponent's monsters gets destroyed by battle or card effect while he's on the field, when it goes to the graveyard, it gets equipped to him, and that's not once per turn. So if you keep popping monsters, they just keep getting equipped to him. And then his once per turn effect is you can detach one monster that's equipped to him and destroy all monsters of the exact same type that your opponent controls as the one that was equipped to him.
So that's like the right ratio with those specific...
Yeah, you only need three, because you rarely ever even have them on the field. These are just for you to fusion summon off.
Do they get bricky in your hand? I'm asking a whole lot of questions because this is a how-to. So
one of them, put it like this: if you open up with all three, you have to scoop because your traps can't activate. You have to send for cost, and you have to send from your deck.
Even if you open one, you're good, right?
Yeah, if you open up with one, it's good because you can still special summon them and still make your locks. And then the best card I think in this deck is the Whelps. It can search any Destruction Sword card in your deck, any of the spells, any of the traps, the monsters, any monster. It just gets that's on when it's normal summoned. And then once per turn, its other effect is you can tribute him off the field and special summon if you don't control another Buster Blader monster, you can special summon one from your hand or from the grave.
Right.
And then his other effect is you can activate one of those other effects, only one of them per turn. The other effect is if you control a Buster Blader and he's in your graveyard, you can discard a Destruction Sword card and special summon him back from the grave.
So it has so these are three for sure.
Absolutely. Oh, he's your main searcher of the entire deck. And but the beauty is that it's either level 1, level 7, so it allows you to make your Buster Dragon, which is your level 8.
And that's your main synchro monster that you're gonna make every time. I got you.
So, and then to finish it up, we only played two more. We played the extra deck equip. I played it 2, just because of the guard dragon package that I rock. I want to see more dragons. When I side out, I'll usually side and just keep one in. But you only need one, but it's good to draw off of it. So his effect is you can equip them from your hand or from the field to a Buster Blader monster. And then obviously he locks your opponent out of the extra deck, but he also has the effect to where he could detach and special summon himself off.
So this is the famous one. This is the one everybody else stole from you.
Everybody's gonna get him banned.
Right.
So this is the other one. I brought one of him. He's basically your Abyss Dweller. You can equip him to same thing from your hand or from the field. You can equip him to a Buster Blader monster, and monsters in your opponent's graveyard cannot activate their effects.
So it's literally as a dweller.
But not only that, but his other effect, just like how he has an effect detach, you could detach him and send him to the grave, and then you can add any Destruction Sword monster that's in your grave back to your hand. So you detach him and you grab Whelp back to your hand, so you can normal summon him again and use his effect.
Okay.
And then there's one other one, but I don't play it because it's not that good. Just negates traps. And then that's it for your Buster Blader lineup. That's all the monsters you want to rock in it, because you rock an alternative engine. And like I said before, my other deck, the best engine to rock with it is your Crusadia, only because you want to be able to have draw power, you want to be able to have extenders, so if they do negate stuff, you can continue off and play.
So you think that that's the only engine that's worthwhile running with Buster Blader? You can't run it by itself?
You can run a pure Buster Blader build, but the problem is it gets too bricky. One Ash, one interruption can usually stop you completely.
Especially in this format.
Especially in today's format. You know, you got all these hand traps, forbidden droplets, all that stuff, and it just stops you. hands down. This way you can still combo off and still be able to at least draw into your cards to see what you need. You could do the what's the spellcaster for Dark Magicians, the Magician Soul. You can rock that and draw too, but the problem is you don't want to discard sometimes the traps that are in your hand because you want those traps to activate them. All right. Then, of course, this is just your standard Crusadia package for the best lineup for him. You need 3 Dracos because we do play the Guard Dragon package. He also allows you to continue off with your hand size by adding 1 back to your hand. Then we play 3 Arboreas. You want to be able to make your Needle Fiber play, be able to protect any other Crusadia monster that's on the field, which is an extended effect which does not activate, it just happens. And then 2 Reclusias. I rarely use his effect, but today I used it to pop Boral Savage after our Dark Ruler No Mortem to get the equip off the field that he locked me out of my extra deck, but he left me in Appaloosa. So I just special summoned it and then popped it. But other than that, it's just going to your Crusadia Guard Dragon plays to be able to link off and be able to make your Saryujas. And then I just rock 1 just as an extra name, extra extender, because they all have the effect where you can summon them from your hand once per turn, which is an inherent summon, but they can only do that once per turn.
So with the Crusadia stuff, you recommend this engine over any other engine just because of how it can kick off by itself?
Absolutely. It just, the inherent summons is beautiful because you got cards like Zexal, you got cards like VFD, all these cards that say you can't activate yourself. That's fine, they don't activate. They just happen.
Right.
And that's the beauty of it, that you're able to link climb without activating a single effect. And that to me is a little bit more beneficial than the other cards that have to activate, people can negate them.
Right.
So, and then to continue off with your inherent summons, I rock 2 Jester Cuffets. He's just the only restriction on him, you can't control more than 1, but you can special summon him from your hand as an inherent summon. His other effect is if you leave him on the field, during the end turn of your opponent's turn, you can add him back to your hand, and 1 monster your opponent controls back to the hand as well. But he's in there, again, as inherent summons to trigger off some of the Crusadia Link monster effects. Also, to give you an extra spellcaster to special summon him onto the field as well. He's just another dragon. And he's not.
So the number 1 reason to play Jester Confit
is for Ran Ryu, and also just inherent summon, and he's dark, which works for the baby dragons. It's just another inherent summon that can activate to help you trigger off your effects.
Right, I got you.
And then, of course, we walk the white and the black dragon. No explanation on them. Everybody knows that they're good cards for any dragon deck. There's no explanation needed. I do rock a small rocket package in here just to help me extend off, make Boral Savage, make my Buster Dragon, whichever I need, to be able to go off into my plays to help me hard make my lock. And then I used to rock Silver Dragon, but I took him out. I'm rocking 1 of him, which it personally doesn't matter if you rock Silver or him. I don't ever use their other secondary effects, but I will eventually cut him to rock a second 1 of him instead. When I was playing with the Silver Dragons, I realized sometimes when you open up with them and you have everything you need, but you don't have a way to get a dragon in the grave. Since I don't rock Striker Dragon, I wanted to be able to normal summon them and get them off into the grave. And I had to normal summon Rocket Tracer, use his effect to pop himself just to get a dragon in the graveyard. But this one, the reason why I put it in is he does have a good hand effect to where you can send them from your hand or the field to the grave. If they pop a monster that was special summoned from the extra deck, you could target 1 dark monster in your graveyard and then special summon a different dark monster with a different name. But the main purpose he's in here is because of his attack. He's a level 4, which works for the Rocket Tracer, but his attack, you can always make Almirage with him and just link them off.
So the number 1 reason you added all these engines with Buster Blader is to give it something else to do besides just
be able to give it a hard combo, because if they stop you from trying to do your main, because your main purpose is to make a Buster Blader lock, you want to be able to get the dragon and the fusion guy out and lock him out of the extra. But in today's format, with all the interruptions and everything that's going on, sometimes that's a little bit difficult. This will allow you to where if they stopped you, you could continue and combo off. And even if you can't make your lock, you can still end with a very good board that's still hard to break.
Right.
Being able to get Appaloosa out, being able to get Boral Savage out, those are just great benefits in today's format to help you just be able to combo off and stop your opponent from playing on their turn.
Right.
And then, of course, you rock 2 Parallel Exceeds. I don't need 3 because I only need the 1 extra summon. I have so many monsters that summon from the hand already. So, but he's just a good inherent summon. And then them being rank 4s also help you with the Rocket Tracer, linking off, going into your plays. We rock the 1 Red MD still. He's been ratted. It's fine. You can still make your 2 Boral Savages with him, or your 2 Saryujas off of his effect. Right. You really don't need it, but he's just a busted card. Gives you a free extra summon. And then our very last monster we play is your Jet Synchron. He's just good there for your needle fiber plays. He can actually help you hard make your entire lock with Boral Savage as well. You can make everything with him, and it's just a really great combo to have. And then that'll be it for your monster count. This is a 52 card deck.
So let's just call that a hell of a lot of monsters.
All right, then I rock the best trap in this entire deck is your Prologue.
Now, what exactly does it do, and when do you want to play it, and all kind of stuff?
So in today's format, because I've been playing this a lot, and I've been topping a lot with it, a lot of people are starting to side in kaiju, so on and so forth. So if this is your way to make your lock, and you didn't already hard make it, and this is set, you want to wait a little bit. You want to see if they have Dark Ruler no more. See if they have a kaiju to get Boral Savage off the field, or Appaloosa off your field. Negate their effects. Then you activate it. But if you know your opponent can't get there, you activate it during draw phase or standby. This card will send for cost. They cannot ask you. They can't stop it. You have to pay your cost. Even if they reboot you, you still have to pay the cost. You're going to send 1 Destruction Sword card and 1 Buster Blader from your deck to the grave. And that's any Buster Blader monster. And then that allows you to special summon your Buster Dragon out of your extra deck. What you send is your memories and your Buster Blader. Because so long as you have a dragon in your graveyard, after cost, you just chain memories. Memories will banish out of your grave, and you'll banish out Buster Blader and any dragon, and you'll fusion summon. They'll come out together, and that is your Buster Blader lock.
Right.
And then its other effect is if...
so basically, this is the lock by itself.
He is the 1 card lock. So long as you have a dragon in your grave, he is a 1 card lock. He gets you 2 monsters. Because you're going to send this card and a Buster Blader. This card will banish the fusion summon, and you'll get both of the cards out. And then at the end of your next turn, so you did this during your opponent's turn. At the end of your next turn, that Buster Dragon will go to the graveyard.
So the combo is to activate this and dump that.
Yep. Combo: activate this, dump this, and Buster Blader, and then chain this after paying cost to banish this and the Buster Blader and a dragon to bring out your fusion guy.
Okay.
So. And then its second effect is if, so for instance, all the equips on all the monsters, all of them have Destruction Sword in their name. And so does this, even the 1 Buster Blader. These all have Destruction Swords in their name. If your opponent goes to Twin Twister you, they try to pop your monster with card effects. Any monster that says Destruction Sword in its name, including the fusion guy, you could chain this and banish it from your grave. No Destruction Sword card monster can be, or any card in general can be that says Destruction Sword can be destroyed by battle or card effect for the entire turn. So it protects your lock, it protects your equip from knocking them out of their extra deck. It's just a really great secondary effect. A lot of people don't know, or actually they forget about it. Because they'll think that they have the out, they impermed you or Dark Ruler no more you. They're like, cool, I'll pop your back row with Twin Twister, and it's like, yeah, I'm just going to protect it. So, then the next card we put in is your Memories. Memories' normal effect on the field is you can activate this, discard 1 Destruction Sword card, and then special summon any Buster Blader monster in your deck. It can even special summon Toon Buster Blader if you wanted it to. But we rarely activate that effect on the field. We usually pitch it with the prologue cost, because these are your fusion cards. Its secondary effect, again, is to banish it and fusion summon from your extra deck.
Right. And it's necessary at 2, you think?
I see a lot of people that they try and play it at 3. I don't play it. I mean, unless you have 3 fusion monsters in there, 2 is all you need.
Right.
I rarely ever fusion summon more than once, anyways. Very rare occasions I'll use it again, but I rarely ever do.
Right.
The last Destruction Sword card you play is Destruction Sword Flash. Again, it's all those are searchable with well. Destruction Sword Flash is just a stupid card. If you control a fusion monster that lists Buster Blader as materials, banish all of your opponent's monsters on the field. Face down, face up, doesn't matter. Banish all of them. And again, you can use that with the fusion guy, or even if you have Dark Paladin out on the field, you can use this card. And again, just like on all the other traps that are in here, they all have secondary effects. when this is in the grave, if your opponent targets a Buster Blade or monster, that could be any of them.
Right.
You can banish this from your grave, negate and destroy it. So if they try to imperm you, you just banish it, negate and destroy. They try to
Anything.
impulse anything that targets, negate, destroy.
Right.
And then my favorite card that I love the most, and a lot of people love as well when I play it, is your Red Rain. I upped it to 3 this time.
What the hell is Red Rain?
Red Rain is stupid. I was playing it at 2. I decided to up it to 3 only because I want to see this card more. So Red Rain states, if you control a level 8 or higher Synchro monster,
So Buster Dragon.
Buster Dragon, Boral Savage, any level 8, even Gamma if you want,
Okay.
banish all monsters on the field.
Omega. Yeah.
Omega. Banish all monsters on the field other than the monster or monsters with the highest level. And then any monster that's not banished by this card is unaffected by all card effects, which means because it says that, it does not have to banish a single monster for it to resolve. Even if they, you did it during your turn, they Lancia you, fine.
So you've been talking to Richard. You already know.
It does not have to banish
Right.
in order to resolve.
Right.
And then if you synchro, and then after that, if this is in your grave and you synchro summon a dark synchro dragon, any level, as long as it's a dark synchro dragon, you can add it back to your hand. So if you hard make your Buster Dragon, you just add that back to your hand. And which is why in that Needle Fiber combo, you pitch this as cost to bring back Jet Synchron. Then you synchro summon in the Boral Savage, and then you just add this back to your hand. And I love seeing that card. And of course, because every single trap we rock is a normal trap, it wouldn't be complete without Trap Trick. Trap Trick is just disgusting. Allowing you to use any one of those cards immediately.
Right.
That card helps you a lot. It allows you to see this, these two, opening up with these
100%,
two.
because this can be a copy of something else that you need at any time. Yeah,
Yep.
that's insane.
If you needed to go grab Red Rain, if you needed to go grab the Banish, if you're playing against Necros, or and you get cool Banish all your
So
monsters.
there's no other way that you think to play it than to revolve around Trap Trick and then. Okay.
Trap Trick is just, if you're rocking so many normal traps, Trap Trick is just the way to go.
Is there any other engine you ever mess around with this deck, or you just try to stick with?
I tried to do adding more tech cards, like 1-for-1, Where Art Thou. It just became too bricky, because if you're reliant on that card to get you what you need, and they ask you, you're kind of, you're screwed out of it.
Right.
As opposed to being able to go, okay, effect, I need to add this card. They stop you, and you're like, cool, I have 2 Crusadias. I'll just go full Crusadia and make 2 Saryujas and hopefully draw those cards.
Right.
So I just think it's a better play than to just do a pure Buster Blader build.
Right.
And then our spell cards, I rock the 1 Monster Reborn, 1 Moral Legacy Secession, because you have the Crusadia monsters, the Link monsters that activate when cards get summoned to its zones. All you need is 1. You can up it if you want, but it just becomes inconsistent, or you'll see it too many times when you don't want to. But it's a good one of. And then of course the last cards we rock are our quick launches, because we do rock the small rocket monsters that are in here. This will allow you to combo off, extend further, and be able to make your synchro plays.
So you don't. The cards are basically emergency teleport for you. It's just a really.
It is. I mean, I use it sometimes just to make Needle Fiber. It's like I need a turner. I'll bring him out, use him and another monster, make Needle Fiber, and go off.
Keep going. Yeah.
Yep.
100%.
Also, another cool thing about that is that if they Nibiru you and you have this, you still at least get Boral Savage.
Now, I wanted to do it in a different way where we, fan your graveyard. Fan your extra deck, just so people can understand.
Not here, we'll just play it like this.
Yeah, count it out is fine. So because you're playing Crusadia, you dedicated a little bit of it to Crusadia. But if you weren't playing Crusadia, obviously you'd have to, fill it in some other kind of way. But why this extra deck? Why the way it is?
To me, this is the best extra deck to run with this. I did cut Heretic Seals for my Mirage Dragon combo, but unfortunately, I think it's a little bit too slow in this format.
Right.
So the reason why I specifically selected certain monsters is to help with your combo. You have Almirage, which is any monster that's normal summon, you can make him as long as they have 1,000 or less attack. A lot of the Crusadia monsters have less than 1,000 attack. All the Buster, the dragons, the Destruction Sword dragons, all have less than 1,000 attack. But the reason why he's in there, a lot of people are like, oh, you could play. What's his name? Link Karibo. This is better than Link Karibo only because I could get him off the field
at any time you want to.
So if you open up a Welt, you get your search, you make him, then you special summon a Crusadia to the zone it points to, then you just activate his effect to get rid of it, and then now you get to go make your Magius.
Right.
And then you special summon, continue off, make your full combo. Magius and Spaffle are your only two Crusadia monsters you can rock. Some people rock a Borea or Equamax. Some people will rock Avermax. They're great options, but to me, the lock is hard enough to get over, and there's other monsters instead of using those spots to make it. He's your searcher for any Crusadia monster when it's summoned to him.
Right.
He allows you to move monsters. So, for instance, when you do your Guard Dragon play, when LP goes there, he moves them. So now you can activate your LP's effect. And then Pisty, because you're going to make your Saryuja, you do your Pisty, you bring him back. Everybody knows your Guard Dragons.
Right.
He is extremely important in this deck, and I kind of underestimated his importance in this deck. But like I said in the other combo video that I showed, if they ask you when you have Spaffa and LP, you can always make him. And he'll send one Destruction Sword card from your deck when you summon. And then also, and if you do, you can special summon a Buster Blader from your hand. That's how you're able to hard make your lock turn one, because you can, if you already had one in your hand, you can bring it out. Then you go into your Needle Fiber, and you're able to continue off and make a hard lock board with your backup as your traps. But this is all your Guard Dragon play that you need to make your Guard Dragons. He's a pop out for Guard Dragon. If they imperm Ash, whatever, he's your out for it. And then of course your two Saryujas, which gives you your draw power. Saryuja, people wanted Saryuja banned, and I know why. Being able to make multiple Saryujas, unbricking your hand, plussing one off of it, and even though you may plus one, sometimes you'll plus more than one, because if you added a Crusadia back to your hand that you already special summoned, that's two cards you're going to plus off of it, because you're going to automatically put them back in. So you can plus a lot off of them. And then the effect to special summon from your hand, it's just, he's busted.
Right. Needle Fiber is Needle Fiber, I guess.
Then your Needle Fiber is your Needle Fiber. There's really no explanation. And then he's the one I replaced Heretic Seals with, only because having him with 2 to 3 negates, a Boral Savage with 4 counters, and your Buster Blader lock, and locking your opponent out of your extra deck,
there's nothing they can do.
It's like, hope you got Sphere Mode.
So the crux of the deck, and you shout out to Boral Savage, but the crux of the deck is these two.
No.
So
these are your main guys. Boral Savage is Boral Savage. We don't really need to explain him. But these are your main two guys. I rock 2 ofs on each of them. You really don't need to rock more than that, because the trap can special summon him back from the graveyard as well. He has to be fusion summoned, either with the fusion spell that they have or with using the memories. So like I said, that trap will get you both of these out. So long as you have a dragon in the graveyard and that trap, it gets you both of these guys out. And he'll come out when you do the trap. So what he states is, all monsters your opponent all dragon monsters in your opponent's possession, that means hand, field, graveyard, mom's house, doesn't matter, they cannot even attempt to activate their effect. They can't pay cost, they can't do anything with it. He gains 1,000 attack and defense for every dragon monster in your opponent's field and in the graveyard. And he also does piercing battle damage as well when he attacks. So people think he's a Baguska, that, oh, my monster has to be in defense, so if I link summon, I can activate. You don't. If it's a dragon, it's not activating. And this is why this guy's here. When he comes out, he makes all monsters your opponent controls become dragons, period. So the moment they normal summon, when these two are on the field, it's a dragon. Now his effect makes them go in defense. They cannot activate. He makes all your opponent's monsters dragons. And yeah, I rarely ever attack with him, but he has a big booty. And it's hard to get,
right.
He's just hard to beat over. And then his effect, when on the field, if you don't control a Buster Blader monster, When you summon him, you can special summon one from your graveyard, and that's not once per turn. So if you make, well, it's not a hard one. If you make another one, you can do it again. And then quick effect during your opponent's turn, you could target one Buster Blader monster you control, so him or any of your other Buster Bladers, and equip them with a Destruction Sword monster from your graveyard. So that's how you're able to equip them with with the one that locks you out of the extra deck, the Abyss Dweller. You could even equip the other Buster Blader to them.
Right.
Doesn't matter, but that's how you're able to get your Buster Blader lock. And he can allow you, and him, these two together will allow you to hard make this turn one, and make him, and make an Appaloosa.
All on the same board.
All on the same board, turn one, and then if you have prologue set, even if they kaiju that, or they Dark Ruler no more you,
Right.
you just activate the trap and you bring two more back out. Lock is still in place.
And which trap card is that brings both of them out?
That would be the prologue. That brings, well, the trap itself, but it's what you send off the trap. You'll send memories and you'll send the Buster Blader.
So this card itself summons these two?
So when you activate this, you're going to pay the cost. You're going to send one Destruction Sword card, and then one Buster Blader monster. And then, like I said, so long as you already have a trap or a dragon in the grave, so you're going to activate this, you're going to send these two. These two will go to the grave. Then you'll ask them if they have a response. They say no, you chain memories. You'll banish it out. You ask if they can have a response, you're going to banish the fusion summon. So you're going to banish one Buster Blader, because his name in the grave is Buster Blader, and any dragon. And then that's going to bring him out. Then this will resolve, and that brings him out.
So it's really two trap cards spinning off of each other to make that happen?
The combo, they just work off each other by what you send. If you already have a memories in the grave, because like I said, this can send memories to the grave.
Right.
So if you already have one in the grave and you don't need to worry about it, and you think, oh, they may have imperm, you can send this to the grave.
Right.
Off of prologue or off of him.
And
if
slash
they-
does
yeah.
what again? Just for people to...
It'll, in the graveyard, if you send in the grave, if they target Buster Blader with, let's say, imperm, you could banish it, negate, and destroy it.
Right.
And then also its effect is you still get to banish all your monsters.
So playing the deck, we got a little bit left. What's your hardest matchup to deal with, currently in this format?
Currently, I think my hardest matchup, I mean, the way this deck is built, it's a combo deck that has a control aspect about it. You're able to stop your opponent from activating anything. The Appaloosa is there to negate hand traps or hand effects in the activating the hand or in the grave. Moral Savage is there to negate any trap, any spell, anything you want. And that's the beauty is you're able to protect it. But to me, the hardest deck I think in this format that helped me just because they have outs even if I go first would probably be Ultrageist. Only because Imperm Multi-Faker, I normal summon Welt, they Imperm it, chain Multi-Faker, bring out the dude, bounce the belt back to my hand. Yeah, I may already had a prologue or a trap trick, but I'm only able to get the dragon out. Right. I won't be able to get him out because I didn't get a dragon into my graveyard.
And then they can kind of play. Plus, they're only setting traps anyway, so yeah.
And it's like, I can protect myself, like I said, that Red Rain protects it. It does a good job protecting it, but it's just they have so many traps to where they can just chain everything to it. And it's like, any trap deck like that is a hard matchup. I played Trick Stars, and I didn't open up good enough, and they were able to beat me today, which was shocking. But, I mean, it is what it is. Those are like usually, like, for instance, when Sky Striker was at full power, they were a bad matchup for this deck. But then again, I didn't have Master Rule 5, I didn't have some of these monsters, so it was a little bit different of a build.
Yeah, it'd definitely be different now, even though, Engage is the GOAT.
Absolutely, and I think Master Rule 5 is probably the biggest help to this deck.
Right.
Only because I'm able to summon both of these
So
simultaneously.
you 100% agree that actually matters, the Master Rule? Yeah.
Absolutely. In this deck in particular, absolutely. I mean, and the cool thing is that you can even, since you bring out a Synchro and a Fusion, you can rock Cross Sheep and activate both of his effects because you'll get both of these to summon to its
So
effect.
Cross Sheep is a possibility in the deck?
Cross Sheep is a good option if you don't want it, if you can't afford the Neofiber, if you can't afford Appaloosa, you could go Erratic Seal, you could do Cross Sheep. There's alternative options. Moral Savage, which I put in my side deck now. If you can't afford him, I know he's expensive, he's about to get reprinted, but you can put him in. I side him.
Right.
Just so you can burn your opponent in time.
And then the rest of you, just to fan through real quick, it's just a bunch of random stuff, just to, that's kind of on whatever your locals and whatever.
I mean, your side deck will always change, and it should just due to the fact of who you're playing, what you're always seeing at your locals. To me, this is a more, I have a different generic side deck that I do for like regionals, depending on what I'm going to see. But if you're playing against an opponent, and I don't understand what people do, if you're seeing that same person at locals every single week and he's consistently can beat you, why aren't you siding for him?
Yeah.
Side to beat them.
Right.
But I mean, it's just a common.
But for like a big event, you know, you'd really have to go for your weakest matchup.
Because like if I
So
was at
control
regional-
decks are the weakest matchup?
No, the Guru, because he is a dragon, it's just, they're screwed. It's just
Yeah,
literally Ultra Dice is literally one of my weakest matchups. But
Oh, that's right. Subterra Guru is a dragon.
Yeah, he's
Damn,
a
that
dragon.
sucks.
It's like, yeah, you ain't flipping nothing. Like,
Mark said,
but if I was like at a regional, these would be Lightning Storm.
yeah,
Because Dark Ruler no more, Lightning Storm, and then full combo.
right,
And of course, that's just for time. Burn your opponent.
right. So I appreciate the in-depth profile. A lot of people like the profile, but that's more in tune of how the hell you even build a deck, how you play it, what to do against it, what to not do. So I appreciate you, man.
Absolutely.
Yep.
And then, do you want to see a combo or?
Not bad.
No, shuffle it.
No, we're gonna make them come back to